Welcome to another episode of American History Mysteries. My name's Coley Sins, and I'll be your host as we look into the mysterious and widely debated death of American President John F. Kennedy. In 1963, the world was not very stable. Specifically in America, there were many protests and movements happening from East Coast to West Coast. John F. Kennedy, who took over the presidency in January of 1960, inherited an unsteady country. On top of the civil rights movement and the women's rights movements, America was dealing with the Cold War with Russia and issues with Cuba. Flash forward to November 1963, President John F. Kennedy was visiting Dallas, Texas. He was in a limousine with an open top traveling in his presidential motorcade through Dealey Plaza. In the vehicle with him was his wife Jackie Kennedy and the governor of Texas and his wife. The reason for his visit was to work out some troubles between the Democrats and Republicans in Texas. President Kennedy was traveling in a limousine with an open top, much to the dismay of the Secret Service. After making the planned left turn onto Elm Street, 3 shots rang out, striking President John F. Kennedy and killing him. The shots came from the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository, and the man behind the gun was Lee Harvey Oswald. Now, it's important to note that Lee Harvey Oswald spent a few years in Russia, then the Soviet Union, when he defected from the United States, mainly because he was a communist. And at the time, you did not want to be a communist in America. It was not accepted, to put it bluntly. Eventually, Lee Harvey Oswald returned to the U.S. with his Russian bride, and they settled in Dallas, Texas in the fall of 1963. Oswald continuously contacted the U.S. government and communist organizations throughout the country, trying to make a name for himself. He failed in all these endeavors and even failed in an assassination attempt on a retired U.S. Major General in April of 1963. Oswald purchased his revolver and his rifle through mail order using the name A. Hidell. Now, the reason the assassination of President Kennedy is a mystery is because all of the questions and uncertainty of the event, even until this day. Why did Lee Harvey Oswald assassinate President John F. Kennedy? Was there a second gunman on the grassy knoll? Was the CIA involved? Was the Mafia involved? Many of these different theories popped up when, after being caught and arrested, Lee Harvey Oswald was shot and killed by a local nightclub operator by the name of Jack Ruby. So who was exactly involved in the assassination of President John F. Kennedy? Let's start with the shooter himself, Lee Harvey Oswald. This man was a rogue American that wanted desperately to be known. During his attempted escape, Oswald murdered a police officer that attempted to stop him just 45 minutes after shooting John F. Kennedy. This officer, named J.D. Tippit, stopped Oswald as he was walking a little less than a mile away from the book depository where he shot Kennedy. When Officer Tippit got out of the car, he was immediately shot by Oswald multiple times. Oswald was later identified by 9 witnesses as he was fleeing the scene of the officer's murder. After he fled the scene, Lee Harvey Oswald ducked into a movie theater without paying, which a witness saw and then alerted the theater. The theater then called the police, who came and arrested Oswald. Lee Harvey Oswald then admitted to absolutely nothing. He's quoted as saying, "I didn't shoot anybody," and also quoted as saying, "They've taken me in because of the fact that I lived in the Soviet Union. I'm just a patsy." Oswald was charged with Tippit's murder, but was interrogated for 2 days by the Dallas Police Department about the president's assassination. A timeline was established of Oswald's whereabouts on the day President Kennedy was killed. Lee Harvey Oswald was living with a family in Irving, Texas, when he learned of a job at the Texas School Book Depository in October. He got the job and began commuting into work on Mondays with his coworker and staying in Dallas at a rooming house until Friday, when he would commute back to the house in Irving with the same coworker. The day before the assassination, Oswald asked his coworker for a ride home on a Thursday, which was unusual. He said he had to get some curtain rods. On their way back to work on the next day, the day Kennedy was assassinated, Oswald had a paper bag with him. It was later determined that the rifle was in this bag. Upon leaving Irving on November 22, 1963, Lee Harvey Oswald left $170 and his wedding ring. The last time that Oswald was seen when President John F. Kennedy was alive was about 35 minutes before the shots rang out on the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository. He then shot 3 times at the passing motorcade and killed President Kennedy. There are really two mysteries involving the assassination. Was it really Lee Harvey Oswald that shot JFK? There's a picture that has caused major speculation in Oswald's whereabouts during the shooting. The biggest mystery, however, is if someone hired Lee Harvey Oswald to assassinate JFK. Many people have conspired that the Soviet Union, the Mafia, or even the CIA was involved with this assassination. While in the Soviet Union, Oswald wrote to his brother that he was prepared to kill any American that defended the American government, and emphasized any American, for his political cause. Oswald's whereabouts in the Soviet Union were unknown for about a year's time. During this time, some believe he could have been radicalized and trained for the assassination. He was a self-described Marxist, but for some reason he eventually wanted to come back to the United States. This conspiracy has some interesting connections, but nothing was ever actually proven that the Soviet Union was involved. The Mafia Conspiracy gets a bit more interesting because, as stated before, Lee Harvey Oswald was himself murdered just 2 days after assassinating JFK. His killer was Jack Ruby, a local nightclub owner who claimed to be so distraught and angry about the assassination of the president that he just had to kill the murderer. This murder was caught live on national television, and people all across the country sat in shock by this event. Ruby's dealings in Dallas were rumored to include gambling, drugs, and even prostitution. Though he was rumored to have ties to the mob, nothing substantial ever came of this claim. Jack Ruby very well could have just been really upset that the president was assassinated. The most substantial conspiracy in JFK's assassination is that the CIA was involved. Let's look at the facts. A guy with a communist background did the shooting, an easy cover. The shooter was then killed 2 days later before he could potentially give away telling information about a certain American government organization. The motive for the CIA's involvement most likely is the fact that President Kennedy was moving towards ending the Cold War with the Soviet Union. The common story is that anti-communist extremists in the CIA needed the tension with the Soviets and Cuba to keep Americans on edge about the political ideology of communism. There are many theories that the CIA was even working with the Mafia to get JFK's brother, Robert, who was the Attorney General, off their backs. The fact is, there are so many theories that involve the CIA that in 1979, the House Select Committee on Assassinations concluded that Oswald assassinated Kennedy, but a conspiracy was probable. In other words, yes, the assassination of John F. Kennedy goes well beyond one guy with a rifle. The conspiracy theories are endless, and the truth about our 35th president may never truly be known, but the fact that the government found that a conspiracy was probable is very substantial. After all, are we even certain Lee Harvey Oswald was the shooter? I'll be back with the feature creature of the week after this break.
Step into a place that's alive with creativity. At the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, our students have a passion for art, graphic design, music, dance, and theater. We're here to help you discover your artistic potential. From classic techniques to modern innovations, UW-Whitewater is an outstanding place to learn your craft and prepare for your career. So bring your talents and imagination. Come be part of the Warhawk family.
Peace, education, activism through creative engagement. Peace is a nonpartisan organization that promotes peaceful resolutions to university and worldwide conflicts. We raise awareness on issues regarding environmental rights, social equality, and political justice. Every month, we show a documentary in the Summers Auditorium. You can learn and have fun doing it. Peace. Be the change you see in the world.
Me, thank my dad. He has so many bottles, he can't even keep track.
You may have seen these commercials on TV lately. The reality is prescription drug abuse is a problem here in Walworth County.
If you have questions about addictions and options for treatment, you can call Walworth County Department of Health and Human Services at 262-741-3200.
To report prescription abuse or misuse, contact Walworth County Sheriff's Office or Walworth County Crime Stoppers.
Thank you for helping making Walworth County safe.
Video One Media Services provides accomplished students the opportunity to enhance their college experience by working with real-world clients. addition, we provide clients local and affordable video options to better enhance their media needs. For more information on how Video One Media Services can help you with your next media project, email or call our office at 262-472-5659.
This week's featured creature is Mothman. This creature isn't the most well-known mysterious being in the United States, but it did wreak havoc in West Virginia for a year, from 1966 to 1967. Mothman was seen many times in the Point Pleasant area of West Virginia and is best described as a large white creature that had bright red eyes, almost like a man-sized bird. 5 men claimed to see the creature flying around over trees in late 1966, followed by the claims of 2 couples while they were driving at night near a former U.S. military munitions plant. Over the next few months, many more sightings were reported, and the local sheriff blamed this on people mistaking a large heron bird as this Mothman. The heron was the only one in the area at the time and is believed to have gotten lost somehow, ending up in West Virginia. Though this seems to be a viable explanation of Mothman, it didn't stop his folklore legend from growing in West Virginia. In late 1967, a bridge collapsed and tragically killed 46 people. Mothman was blamed by many, and the myth continued to grow. Thanks for tuning in to another week of American History Mysteries. I hope you learned a few things about one of the most famous presidents and his unfortunate death, along with some of the different ideas and theories of why he died, and of course, the mysterious Mothman. I'm Coley Sims. See you next time for more mysteries.